This podcast is part of the Frederick Podcast Network. Learn more at listenfrederick.com.
That's number one. You kind of reset your
Painful, tender to the touch. May also
same shoulder length, and the other.
Well, hello and welcome to another episode of the Real Health Podcast with Brandy and Amir. I'm Dr. Amir Rashidian, a chiropractor. Brandy Rashidian is my other half, co-host, and the reason you probably watch the show. The reason you probably watch the video version of the show is you can find us on all the platforms. Mainly, we're brought to you by the Frederick Podcast Network, found on listenfrederick.com. But like I said, we're on YouTube and Spotify and iTunes and everything else too. And Real Health Podcast is where we bring you information about the latest health trends, information on mainstream media, whatever comes out as far as discoveries and so on. And our purpose is to help you feel better, get stronger, live longer, and feel younger from a non-surgical, non-drug perspective. So today we have two guests with us. Back from due to popular demand. We have Blake and Mark, and
really,
this is
we got a lot of feedback having you guys on, so
that's good.
People like you.
Cool, good.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
And,
okay.
and but I think everybody wants to get fit.
Yeah.
They the trend. You want to have a great podcast, there's only three things you need to talk about: love, relationships, weight loss, and money.
Or conspiracy theories.
Or that, yeah.
Those are
you could
big.
probably add
That's
that on there.
yeah. But I mean, the most popular they say is that.
Yeah.
So today we'll talk about.
That seems extremely accurate.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what's funny is I don't know if I mentioned this on the last podcast, but I was watching some shorts. Don't worry, I don't watch too many of them. We know it impacts short-term memory. Well, I don't know if you guys know
that's
that, but
something
it
we
does.
should talk about at some point.
Yes. But there was a woman who came on, and I guess she used to post more regularly, and she was like, I haven't been on in a long time, and now I think I'm considering myself crunchy. She's like, I never considered myself crunchy before. And I was like, what? Good. I guess we are crunchy. But with all the
As
latest,
opposed to crispy?
yes, we don't do crispy. With all the latest health information coming out and the things about our food sources and how, how they're positioning
ask what
ultra
crunchy
processed food.
means.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So
Okay. I figured that.
if you're trying to stay away from medications, if you're trying to eat healthier, you're trying to stay away from ultra processed foods, you are crunchy. Granola is one of
Interesting.
those.
I term that as healthy, but
That's same.
Yeah.
But
I guess I'm pretty crunchy. Then.
yeah.
yeah, so
Wow.
we have a new term to define ourselves by. Isn't that fun?
Crunchy or boring.
Yeah.
Usually that's the one I get.
You eat the same things all
live a
the
little.
time.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
I
right.
am living.
Yeah. This is
Well,
how,
thank
this is
you.
how I live.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So we have some articles for you. Actually, we started talking about melatonin last time, but it seemed like such a deep topic. We wanted to talk about it again today. But before we get into that, I want to just kind of get updated from you guys on how things are going at the gym. I can tell them, but because I from a,
Because we've been there.
Yeah, from a customer standpoint.
Yeah.
But fill us in. You guys have been doing some great things and working real hard. So let's tell everybody.
Go ahead. So we just recently opened our expansion. So we doubled the size of the gym. So after just over a year, even though we started planning it for shorter than a year in, we doubled the size of the gym. We added an expansion to the gym, and really the purpose of that was to give all the service offerings and modalities that we didn't have. So a lot of the new side of the gym is based primarily on functional fitness. We added a whole turf section, which we can get into, and then a large-scale powerlifting area, which we had a smaller powerlifting area, but it wasn't, up to our standards, and it still might not be because we just want more of everything. But yeah, the purpose of that expansion, which we're very happy with, was just to add, more space. We're growing quickly, and we're very fortunate for that. The community in Frederick has been very open and inviting to Unrivaled, which is great for us, and we're growing at a good pace. And so we identified that we just need more space and more everything, more equipment, more space, more access to everything. And then, we're, as you guys also know, we're adding more service offerings with adding additional things like, chiropractic care, physical therapy, massage. So just giving the overall feeling that Unrivaled's more than just a gym, and we wanted to create more of a full wellness center for Frederick.
Right. Because it's unrivaled.
It is. Yes.
Love that. Very fitting.
Do we want to go into detail about the other amenities that we're adding or services that we're adding?
Why not?
I think that would be
Yeah.
fun.
Okay.
Okay.
So we have the turf, right? Well, we have the big additional area which has the powerlifting, the turf. It's a beautiful space, by the way. It looks
you.
really,
Thank you.
really great.
And we have my favorite 2.5-pound dumbbell increments that we didn't have before.
Those came
That's
popular
awesome.
They're
demand.
great for
Yeah.
they're great for everybody.
They are,
for
yeah.
sure. Especially like, your lateral raises and
Yeah.
it's just good to have more increments
Right.
of so you're not making too big of jumps.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and keep the form in check.
But it's funny because people are creatures of habit.
Mm-hmm.
So even though those are there,
Yeah.
they still go to the other side and complain.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
They can't find them over there, so yeah. Like a short walk around the
We
corner.
haven't had too many complaints about layout. I've had one complaint about layout, and it was like the squat racks facing the mirrors or something.
Oh, wow.
I mean, we put a lot of time and energy into planning the layout,
Well,
so
yeah.
we're hoping that and as people that go to the gym and been going to the gym our whole lives, like I think that we both, especially Blake, have a really good understanding of how gyms should be laid out
Right.
and what just makes logical sense. How we organize the gym and set it up, there's a lot of thought behind it. It
Right.
might not seem that way, people are like it's just a
Right.
gym, but we really put a lot of time into making sure that it makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
So that your workouts can flow better and
Exactly.
you're not like going from one side of the gym to the next back and forth, because that's just frustrating.
Right.
Well, at the end of the day, everyone has a different viewpoint on how they like things. So
Yes.
you're not going to have,
Yeah.
550 people be all happy with the same thing. So
Right.
one person might like this, but they like,
course.
but at the end of the day, we always try to make things universally better
Yep.
for everyone. Whether it's like flow of how you maneuver around, because if you change one small thing, that might be one small thing to someone, but it's
Right.
now you have to completely rearrange everything,
Yeah.
which might not be possible in the space that we have provided.
Right.
So
There's
yeah,
thought
is what
behind
is.
it.
There's a
That's-
lot of
There's,
thought.
So-
behind
there's
it,
a
yeah.
lot of thought behind
So
it.
if you were that one person who didn't like it, calm down a
Oh.
little bit. Just give it time. You might grow to like it. Maybe you just need to change your workout.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Just a little
just
bit.
buy a tripod like everyone else does. and
Right?
Videotape yourself.
There you go.
But I think
That's what Mir
too,
does
to
every
your
day.
point,
Exactly.
changing your workout is something that we're trying to encourage people to do. Not change the whole workout, but again, because we can offer more. We're both aware that there's trends in fitness and functional fitness, there's high rocks and stuff like that, and more cardio-based fitness and the hybrid approach is something that a lot of people are into right now. And so, we were intelligent enough to realize let's add all that because
Right.
people really want that, and having a lot of that equipment that we didn't have before is bringing a whole kind of like fresh breed of people in that
Yeah.
are coming from other gyms, which is really cool.
Yeah. And as long as they don't change our culture, that is fine. Because
Exactly.
the
100%.
culture
Correct.
is, I think, what stands out the most. Because although it feels like a more serious, and I think it is, bodybuilding gym, the culture is so inviting and so comfortable for even beginners, for
It's
somebody
like
who
a club.
hasn't.
It's like a
Yeah.
club that
That's
you
perfect.
like a country club type of thing, but for
You really
people who
sweat.
like to train
though.
hard.
Whoever wants it, yeah, exactly, yes. And you know what? That's like the third time we've heard that this week.
Yes, it's becoming
We were like-
the trend, which is the best compliment we could ever receive
Yeah.
because that's something from day one we put out there, and we would joke because it sounded a little like corny.
It
Sometimes
sounded corny. It
and,
sounded like it's just a
like,
gimmick that
we're here
just
about
saying.
community, but
No,
Yeah, to get
We-
people to draw them in.
and we always tell people it's like, yes, we might lead the charge, but we can't and we didn't build the community.
No.
The people built the
That's right.
community, and we might have attracted the right people in the beginning, and then
Correct.
it organically builds on itself. And I think that's something we're both very proud of that because you can't go and buy a community and people are like,
Correct.
how did you do this? How does it feel different? Like we didn't really intentionally do one thing. We just showed up and built the gym the way that we wanted to, and then
Right.
the right people have come, and that's probably the biggest blessing of the gym. The correct people have come, and
Right.
the wrong people have not come, to
Yeah.
put it nicely, which is great.
Well, and I think, when it's kind of like this sounds weird, but if you two were to have a baby, that's what the gym would be, right? So
Yeah,
it's going to
yeah,
take on your
yeah.
personality.
Yes.
It's going to take on
Right.
the energy that you two put, that you have and that you've put into it. And so while, yes, the people came on their own, it was your guys' personality and the energy that you created the gym with
Yeah.
that attracted the right kind of people. Do you know what I mean?
Correct,
And it's
yep.
really set the tone, and it feels like a safe place, which is really important because
Very
not
important.
every gym feels that way.
No, it definitely doesn't.
So,
or like or some gyms might claim to be judgment-free zones.
Right.
But they're
But you
they
feel
judge people that
judged.
work hard. So
Yes.
it's weird.
That's
it's
true.
weird. It's
Very
really
weird.
weird.
It's actually interesting you say that too. We actually had a woman reach out to us recently that she lives close by, and she had something unsafe going on at home from a stranger outside, and she actually
right,
walked
yeah.
to the gym because she said, I feel safe here. And it
Wow.
was in the middle of the night, and she just stayed inside of the gym, and she's like, I felt safer here than I did at home.
That's
and this
awesome.
guy was like knocking on her door. I don't remember exactly what happened, but
It was like an intoxicated subject or something. Yeah.
But because she knew that it was a safe place to be, and she
Right.
was like taken care of there, and the doors are locked and everything, she was like, I just came to the gym. So
That's
thank you for
awesome.
creating. She said thank you for creating a safe space.
Which
Yeah.
makes, I know for me, it makes me feel really, I mean, Mark too,
Yeah.
but like coming from the police background,
Yeah.
Right.
Because you hear 24-hour gym and you're like, well, where's it at? Right? Who's there?
Right.
Is there a night crowd? Are the
Right.
doors locked? I mean,
Right.
you're
Being
thinking all these
monitored.
things because,
Yeah.
you got to be safe. So,
Absolutely.
we have top of the line surveillance, like
Yeah. We
on
really
our
do.
phones. We're always watching. We're also
there
till 1
Yeah,
in the morning.
yeah.
Something.
Right.
But now
What
we
a
really
neat
now
it is.
we have they installed monitors of the cameras in our offices.
Yeah.
It's at the like we see
Yeah.
it
That's awesome.
anywhere we are in the gym. We're watching.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, when I'm working out, I always pretend you guys are watching me
Yeah.
because I go.
Well, we are.
Yeah, but like
have a
to
microphone so
think
it's
you're like
one
right
more.
there watching, it makes me do makes
Yeah.
me like watch my form and
Yeah.
not cheat and
That's right.
go slow.
Yeah.
Coach Blake is watching.
That's right. That's right.
I know I was getting ready to talk with Elise, and I came around the corner, and I was getting ready to get on the stair stepper. She's like, "Oh, were you going to do that?" And I was like, mm-hmm. She's like, "Do you want to meet instead?" I was like, "Can I say yes? Is it okay for me to say yes? I'd rather talk to you than do my cardio."
Is this a test?
I know. Will you still take me on as a client if I say I would like to skip? So
That's
really
awesome.
good.
No, it's really good to hear that though.
Yeah, it feels great. One of my favorite additions so far is the supplement center.
Thank you.
Same.
Not
Amazing.
same. No kidding.
I'm sure that was a beast to set up. The amount of inventory you have in the various brands is really impressive, and
Thank you.
the quality of brands that you selected too. Yeah. So I would say if you are looking for, because I think the quality and the selection that you have is really hard to find. So if you are looking for something, you're not sure what you need to stop by. Even if you're not a member of the gym, you can come in and you can purchase supplements. They have tons of protein powders and amino acid, anything that you could possibly think of. It's there, but do not eat all of the beef sticks for the love of God, because those are amazing.
They're
and
very
I cannot
good.
run out.
Yeah. I
my
just
only
ordered a
request.
lot
It's not
more
in my
because I
plan,
know
so.
that they're there.
I haven't.
could
It
be.
can be in the
Unless Blake
surplus
changes
phase.
my plan, I
It can
can't
be in
have
the surplus phase.
them. Okay. All right.
Because man, they are
Beef
good.
stick.
18 grams of protein
Yeah.
in one stick.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
pretty. They're
yeah.
pretty clean.
They
Yeah,
are.
they
Yeah.
are.
Like ingredient
Yep,
profile wise,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, it's very
Obviously,
clean.
I mean,
I mean,
Grass-fed.
First
Wouldn't
Form
have
that
been there,
makes them. First Form is one of the kind of elite premier brands in the industry. And
Yeah.
they put quality above basically everything. So
Yeah,
is,
it shows.
No.
So
Yeah, first form is. Good.
But that's something that, just like with the gym and the equipment, that's something that, I mean, we both take pride in that, and I go to pretty far lengths to really handpick the brands, and I'm pretty particular about it. And I have conversations with brands that reach out, and I end up respectfully declining them
Right.
being in the store, because I'm in a nice way, I'm saying it's not up to the standard of what I want
Right.
for the customers. And it's just like, it's my job to kind of pre-screen and pre-select stuff so that I know that when people come into the store, no matter what they buy, it is
Right.
going to be quality, and they don't have to worry about, is this good or bad,
Right.
which in some stores you do. It's just good or great and what's best for me.
Well, and
Yeah,
you do
great
you do a good job. Like you've been doing this for Marksman. How long are you doing supplements?
The other store I've had for 7 going on 8 years,
Yeah.
7
Yeah.
years.
I mean,
so, yeah.
you do a good job at sifting through. Look, the fitness industry, as like anything, the health and fitness
Oh,
industry
yeah.
in general, it's what can grab people's eye, grab their attention, what's gimmicky, right?
Right.
So if I can grab just through labels, or how the design looks on the outside of a bottle, or who's endorsing it, or whatever it is,
Right.
that's not always the best product. And
Correct.
sometimes, I mean, there's products in there now that people have never heard of,
Yeah.
and they're not super flashy.
People say that all the time. I've never heard of half these brands, and I say, no, that's intentional.
Right.
That's
Right.
how
Yeah.
it should be.
because
Yeah.
you're sifting through that to say what is actually efficacious dosing
Mhm.
here.
Correct.
Does this product do the job that it's saying it's going to do?
Right. Is it full of crap?
That's right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Is it crap ingredients or is it
Well,
really?
a lot of times, some companies, because it's not regulated, they lace it with actual illegal drugs in the powder.
Some of them have, depending on the type of product, or there'll be brands like for protein, for example. There's a scandal. There's probably articles about it in previous years where they were doing something called amino spiking, where they're inflating the protein powder with amino acids, because if you were to test the powder, the aminos show protein, but it's not actually whey protein. So if you sprinkle amino acids in the protein powder, it looks like it's at 25 grams of protein per serving, but it's really like 12 grams of protein, 12 grams of aminos, but on the test it shows protein, so it saves them money, and they're selling a lesser product.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so that, companies were doing that for a long time until someone caught wind of it, and that's kind of one of the benefits of something like social media that can then spread quickly, and the brands get called out very fast.
Yeah.
And then people some of them just disappeared altogether now, because people know.
A lot of them have disappeared because of that, though, too. Because what led into that, too, correct me if I'm wrong, was like the whole proprietary blend thing, right? So you see supplements and they're like, $20 for this pre-workout, or that, they're like, wow, this is such cheap. I get it online on Amazon or this and that. It's really cheap. Well, you look at the back and the ingredient profile, and it says proprietary blend, and there's like 50 things in it. Well, some of those should be dosed a lot higher than others. You have no idea.
You don't know how much of each.
It's just an easy way for the supplement companies to throw whatever they want.
Right.
It's just this pixie dust that I just made a video about this recently, but the level of education of consumers has gone up through sharing of information, and it is really good because customers are demanding full transparency labels now, which is fantastic. There's literally two products, it's one brand in the entire store that uses proprietary blends that I still accept, and it's only because it's the pre-workout Jacked 3D and everyone knows it, and it's like tried and true, and it's and I know it is a good product, but other than that, I will not even look at a brand if they use proprietary blends, because I know that 9 times out of 10 it's because they're not giving efficacious dosages. And then it's also dangerous because let's say it's a pre-workout and the proprietary blend is the energy matrix, and you list caffeine, theanine, this, that, whatever. If you can't tell how much caffeine is in there, why would you ever take a product that you don't know? That's especially for someone that's never taken caffeine.
It's very dangerous.
What if there's 400 milligrams of caffeine and they don't know because the proprietary blend just jumps it all together? Well, that's really dangerous.
Yeah, for
sure.
sure.
Heart health, overstimulation, everything. And so it's just not intelligent to use those types of products.
I think it was like 15 plus years ago. There was a group who did they were a nonprofit. They did an independent study, and they had taken like all of the multivitamins, commercial multivitamins that were on the shelf at the time, and they took them and they studied all of them, and they kind of put them, and they said, okay, this is what a multivitamin needs to have to really fit the bill
like
as a
full
multivitamin.
spectrum, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then they first took all of those and they compared the labels, just apples to apples, going, okay, this is what it should have. Okay, this doesn't. Throw it out, throw it out, throw it out. And so they went through, and after doing that, they ended up with very few.
Yes.
Very few. I mean,
sure.
I think it was like 5 or 6.
Turned out some of them were buying waste products from other companies, packaging it.
Yes. And
Wow.
calling
And selling it.
And the problem was the FDA's rule has been, up until now, maybe that will change, is that the only rule was they had to have trace amounts of what's on the label in the product.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Trace amounts.
What do you define as trace, right?
Right.
Sprinkle it in there.
Minuscule. Yeah. It
If
could be,
something like vitamin D3 is more expensive than something like vitamin C, and they can crank the vitamin C up and then pull the vitamin D3, and you don't actually know. I mean, yes, they have it on the back of the bottle, but
but they don't. But no one's managing
what's your
it.
measurement tool? Yeah,
Correct.
exactly.
So they took, and they, out of the ones that were remaining, and I forget how many total remained, just looking at labels, but out of those, they said, okay, which of you are willing to give up your proprietary information on what's in your product, give that to us, and let us test the product.
Yep.
And match it.
Do you want to know how many were willing
0?
to do that? 5. I'm talking 1,500 multivitamins.
Wow.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah,
Because they know,
Is that not nuts?
It really is. The scary part is, though, even if the labels are correct, but then going back to the education side of things, if you pulled 100 people, how many people can read that label and understand what that
it
even
is.
means?
Correct.
Yeah.
People look at me, they're like, I don't even know what, I'm just like, just look at the label. You'll know if it's a good product. I don't know how to read this. Well, that's scary.
Yeah.
Because those are the same labels that are on your food.
Correct.
And so if you don't understand how to read a basic nutrition label,
Right.
then you're
Yeah,
really
the
out
majority
of
of the
How many people-
population does.
They-
That's why they
that's-
hire coaches.
And that's the scary part,
You know?
though. Or I can tell, I'll see people in the store, they'll pick up the product and they'll pretend to look at the label, but I know they're looking at nothing because they don't know. And it's not their fault. It's just
Right.
the education systemically in our country.
Yeah.
No one teaches you how to
Right.
Yeah.
read a basic nutrition label.
I've started really, I've always read labels, but I'm doing it even more now because my kids are like, they request certain things,
Sure.
right? Because they see the marketing. So they're like, hey, I really want, like, cereal goes bad in my house because we just don't eat it, right? Because it's ultra processed. So those are just things we try not to get. Every once in a while they want something. So they have something, they put it on the Amazon, shopping list, and then I'll go. So I'm like looking and they wanted these couple of cereals, and I'm like, and I started looking at the label. I'm like, oh, they've removed some stuff out of that.
Oh yeah.
And
sure.
and I'm like,
The
but there's
dyes
still
and
this.
yeah.
And I'm like, nah, we're not going to do it. And I put
Right.
it back.
Yeah.
And so it sits on our shopping list still, what kids don't love Doritos. And we stopped
Doritos are good.
Doritos altogether because I'm like, there's so much crap in it, and including food dye and everything else. I'm like, we're just not going to do it.
Yeah.
So they started looking at labels, and they found Doritos, and they're like, Mom, they took out the food dye. And I was like, okay, it still has other crap in it. So we can
Yeah.
do small amount.
Small
You know what I
amounts,
mean?
yeah.
Because you can't you can. Some people go complete,
Sure.
So Naveed's been getting up at 5 a.m.
He said to me the other day, this is our 15-year-old, just turned 15.
Oh yeah.
And he goes, I was going to start my new plan, my new meal plan that I'm putting together for myself in the summer, but I just don't think I'm going to wait. I'm going to go ahead and start that now. And I have a workout. I'm going to start getting up at this time. Like he has
Nice.
it all
Yeah,
planned
that's
out. And I'm
awesome.
like,
Yeah, he's got the app. Was it MyFitnessPal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There you go.
and yesterday after basketball practice, he goes, Dad, I only got 2,200 calories today. I need 3,000 every day. I go, you don't need 3,000 every day.
he said 3
he
to
weighs
4,000.
140 pounds.
Like, this guy's on some serious growth
Gain
gains
train.
here.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm trying to add some muscle.
He said,
I'm trying to gain
I
some
said, this
weight."
plan gives me a half pound of muscle a week. I go,
I'll make you
And you're
work
like,
out.
let me tell you something.
let's go up little by little. Why don't you add just a little bit?
Half pound of muscle. That'd be awesome.
Wouldn't it?
Every week.
A
yeah.
week.
Well, this is the same kid who wanted to be really tall, and he's done
Well,
that for
he
himself. We can't
achieved
figure out
that.
where that's coming from.
He's
So
definitely tall.
you never know. Maybe he could will himself that half a pound a week.
You never know.
Yeah, like in Iran, I'm tall.
That's true.
Wait, yeah, maybe I should move there.
We'll
Wow,
get
you're
you
really
in.
tall.
Yeah.
Might
Seriously.
stand out a little bit, but
Yeah.
It's been in the news. They actually Iran threatened. Did you hear this? They in one of their newspapers, they said, we're going to put into his empty, something like that.
Oh.
Well, The Simpsons
So
did
I
predict it.
know doesn't like hearing that, so
No.
something
Yeah.
might happen. They open the borders, we'll go.
Oh god.
Yeah.
We'll open a gym there. We'll start a church there and a gym.
Sounds good.
We'll call it Holy Gym.
Yeah, you're onto something there for sure. We can use your lifetime license to practice chiropractic
That's right.
too.
Yeah, I got my license in chiropractic practice in Iran.
Wow, really?
Which is really cool. So we think, Brandon and I think my dad was in the mafia.
Okay.
He never
The
admitted it.
Iranian mafia.
Yeah, Persian mafia, which apparently there is a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you ever run into Persian mafia when you were a
No.
police officer?
No.
So apparently there's a thing called Persian mafia, and it's a big crime family. But we thought he was in it because, first off, he has a friend in every country in Europe, and we know how he does that. He pretends he doesn't speak English, but he got around really well everywhere. And he had a construction company,
Oh yeah, he's checking he's checking all
All
the
the
boxes.
boxes.
a large construction company. He actually did, like, their company did build a bunch of hospitals, office buildings, government buildings, things like that.
We're not sure how
but-
many bodies were underneath.
Yeah,
it, so
exactly.
Yeah.
He also has a laundromat.
Right. So he was. Why did we get into this? What were we talking about?
I was talking about your lifetime license to practice.
Oh yeah. So I went to Iran with him for a month, like 5 weeks, right after I graduated chiropractic school. And he said, we're going to go meet the president of the medical school today. And I didn't know what that was all about. He didn't tell me exactly. So we show up and we go up to the top floor of the one of the buildings at the medical school. Tehran University has a big medical school in Iran. It's famous. And basically they teach all classes in English. So all the teachers, everything, all the medicines in English, because it's like the medical universal language.
Yeah.
So we sit there and he goes, we have an appointment at like 9 a.m. We sit there till like 10:30, but we're in this like lounge area. It looks like somebody's living room on top of the building. That's his office. There's couches, rugs, like it's a big place. And they keep bringing us pastries and tea and serving us. And Dad and I are just sitting there. And finally, the president of the medical school comes in, shakes my hand. He goes, so you want to practice in Iran? And I go, I do. Dad goes, he does. so he goes, well, the chiropractic board is offered at a different time, but I'll just test you myself right now. So he he put me through a board exam and asked me a bunch of questions in English.
Yeah.
He spoke perfect English, and he asked like really hard questions.
Yeah.
And I was very, very impressed. And at the end of it, he said, listen, all the knowledge you have, I have much more up here. It's pointing to his own brain. He said, I know everything you know plus more. I understand chiropractic way better than you do. And he probably did because I was fresh out of school.
Sure.
He said, but I don't know how to adjust with my hands. He goes, right now there's doctors who are taking weekend seminars and going and trying to adjust spines, and they're hurting people, and it's wrong. So what I will do for you, he said, I'll give you a license because you passed your board. I'll give you a license, and I'm going to have no expiration date on this license because everyone there has to renew their license every 2 years, get continuing education. He goes, you will have no expiration date.
Wow.
Your license is lifetime. But all I ask is that at some point in your life, you come back to Iran, you practice here.
Wow.
So
We
you
haven't
have to
done
go
that yet.
back.
So I got to do it eventually.
Yeah, I'm waiting
It's a
until I
heavy
don't have to
IOU.
wear a head covering.
Uh,
I mean, you don't have to fix your hair, which is super nice.
I wouldn't have
But-
to fix mine.
You'd be a perfect candidate. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
maybe someday.
Yeah, but Iran loves
That's wild.
bodybuilders. I mean, Hadi
Hey, dude,
Choopan
it's
is
growing in
Iranian.
that region a lot.
yeah. Big.
Yeah.
Actually, my
They treat
mom.
it differently. It's just
Yeah.
it's better.
Yeah.
Better. Yeah. It's more well respected and
Oh,
viewed
yeah.
a little differently.
Apparently, they have some nice gyms there and
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
underground gyms.
Oxygen Gym
Oxygen,
isn't in
that's
Iran.
Dubai, right?
It's,
That's
yeah.
Iraq, I thought.
They have
Is it
one in
Oxygen? I think
Dubai
one's-
and I think one in Saudi Arabia or something
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
So in the general
I
region.
mean, those
but
gyms are like. they're
but
not
the
even gyms,
money
they're-
that they put behind bodybuilding now in that region is insane.
Right.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Dubai Pro bodybuilding show, I think the winner gets $200,000 now or something. Like they're putting a lot of money
Yeah,
behind
it's
it.
wild.
Well, they're pretty extreme in everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This podcast is part of the Frederick Podcast Network. Learn more at listenfrederick.com.